Hi, everybody. My name is Rashida Pendleton Morant, and I want to talk to you all and share some of my ideas and thoughts on the article Body Ritual Among the Nakarima by Horace Minor. So, when I first read this, um, it kind of confused me. Of course, I went into my mind trying to figure out the meaning behind it. What group could he have possibly been talking about? And so after my the initial reading, I wanted to know more because of like the way he described things. What it was in such a way that it was just strange. Like you're in that place where you're on the outside looking in, and he definitely made it seem like the culture was strange. Um, so like the mouth things and the holy men, um, he just made it seem like he was talking about something ancient, and it wasn't until I went to do more research on it to get a deeper dive and to get a better understanding that I discovered that he was actually talking about Americans. And I was like, oh, duh, backwards. Now, I did catch that um, on my own after I saw that he was talking about Americans. I was like, okay, oh, duh, it's American spelled backwards. Um, so I could immediately see the rituals that he was describing, the American rituals that he was describing, and quickly thought to myself, like, oh my goodness, this is how people could actually look at us and look into our culture. And we think it's so normal and so common sense. But people meet their needs and however their environment or culture dictates. Um, so it just kind of made me realize how different our everyday habits just look to other people. Um, and without having language to make those connections across those barriers, it makes no sense. It just looks weird. Um, it was really an eye opener to get his point of view, and the way he made us step out and look in and evaluate our own culture from the eyes of a foreigner. Um, I guess when you do that, we kind of we see that we take things for granted. The things that we have, the things that we're able to do. Like when he was talking about the mouth men, and it was just funny seeing how people could rationalize that and totally miss the point. It just seems kind of crazy to them that we'd be doing something like that when it's just common sense for us. Um, so as I was looking and doing more research, trying to like understand more about it, I was in Google looking up different things, right? And of course, I see the assignment, and I'm like, what ritual did he not mention, right? And so I um one of the things that I looked up or Googled was rituals commonly associated with Americans. And one that I kind of saw frequently was small talk. And I'm like, small talk? Really? And so we do make a lot of small talk. And I want to say that it's not just an American thing. Um, I think I want to say it's regional because my mother was born and raised in New York. And when she moved here, I can remember um, her talking about she would be walking down the street. And this was in the 70s. She'd be walking down the street and she'd see people sitting on their porches and they'd wave at her and speak. And she thought that was the weirdest thing. Like, and she'd ask herself, like, do they know me? And she just kind of waved back. And I remember these stories. I also remember being younger, visiting New York, and my mom would always give us a pep talk before we go. She would say, look straight ahead, don't speak to anyone, mind your business, and stay close, walk fast. And that was different too for me. I'm a Southern girl through and through, and I kind of take my time with everything. And I just remember her saying, you don't need to speak to anyone unless you're spoken to. If someone talks to you, you do not speak back to them. You let me know. So there wasn't really small talk in the city. She grew up between Harlem and Brooklyn. There was not small talk there either. So her coming to Virginia in the 70s was a culture shock too. And that brought that to mind for me, hearing those stories from my mom. But we have small talk everywhere, and I'm a small talk kind of girl. Um, I guess when I want to be, just anywhere, we ask anything, say anything. Um, as women, we kind of compliment other women about how their hair looks, their outfit. We may ask where they got their lip gloss or just something, just because we're in a grocery line somewhere. Um, or we're the only two in a waiting room, right? Or sitting on a bench beside each other. That's You're the only ones there, and you're watching a game. You kind of have small talk because you're there, and it's like you want to clear the awkwardness that's around, warm it up a little bit, and um, we do it like restroom line. While I'm waiting for the restroom, uh, and it's so funny because another example that I have is that my Korean girlfriend, I use her and everything. I love it. She's hilarious. She has broadened my perspective tremendously. And like I said, I'm a small talker, and although we know each other, I remember when we were both on the hospitality committee and the kitchen committee. So we spent copious amounts of time together. And she's not shy at all. She says what's on her mind. And I would do things like just like have small talk with her. And she'd look at me, she'd say, girl. You okay? And I would die laughing, and I knew what she was talking about. Like, it's okay not to talk. We're in the kitchen and we're cleaning. She's mopping. I'm doing dishes. I'm trying to get the kitchen cleaned up so we can leave. We could all go home. And she would say, work, more work, more work. Let's talk. And that's another example for me too. And it's like she just didn't understand, like, why are you talking? Or if we're eating food together at a table, we feel like we're kind of in close proximity. Somebody should say something. And I guess if you're not from the United States, I it kind it kind of comes off as disingenuous, maybe a little fake. And just like she says, "You okay? More work. Let's talk." I guess she feels like it's not needed. It's not necessary. Um, and I don't know if people really want to. When sometimes when you're having a small talk, like, um, "Hey, how's it going?" Or how are you doing? How was your day? Or like, "Are you okay?" You see someone walking, they look kind of down. It's like, how you doing? No one is really looking for an answer. You know, don't even care if you think about it. So it's not even really rhetorical. Um, you know, I guess it's a buffer. You don't really get to know a person. So that could make it kind of weird. Like, you don't know me. Why are you talking to me? And there are those instances too. Like, or divulging too much to a stranger. It's like, you don't know me. Why would you be telling me that? That's not small talk. um, so in a way, I guess that small talk has changed over the years. Um, so I also remember like older women talking about going being places like grocery stores, and seeing women of different ethnic groups. Mainly, I would kind of say like mainly black and white. Um, there was really no interaction. There was like, as far as strangers are concerned, you weren't having small talk. So it's kind of like you don't get a chance to get to know someone, or just feel that little bit of sunshine, or that was nice, because there was no sparking up a conversation, just for general purposes. You No small talk there. um and of course now it has changed, as we've integrated, as we have welcomed one another and all diversity, and as we're learning more about one another. Um, there are lots of white people who, or I'm just people period, who don't understand like locks and how you get it like that and how it stays like that, and they have questions about it, like total strangers, and it's okay. It's okay. You can ask me. Um, and so I guess as we integrate work, communities, our children play together, you can see that it's, and you find out that you have more in common than you are different. Um, and And sometimes that just starts with little small talk, breaking that ice. Um, and I think another way that it's different now is that so we have the internet, and I think that our youth is a lot more accepting. They want to know, they are unafraid to ask, and unafraid to compliment, which I love, 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 love. Even in passing. Um, and maybe we don't take ourselves as seriously, and so it's okay to kind of open up and get to know other people. Um, and so I think we are quicker. And even with my mother, she's been here forever. We just had that conversation. Like, I don't know why y'all still always, we're from New York. You've been in Newport News, Virginia for, I'm 45. She moved here not too long before she had me. So you've been in here forever. You're a native Virginian. And she doesn't like that. But she, I mean, she will walk up to a stranger and just compliment. She will, my oldest son has Down syndrome, so she is, whenever she sees a child with Down syndrome, or now my son is 25, so an adult with Down syndrome, doesn't matter, a person who happens to have Down syndrome, she's going to go and talk to them. She wants to give them a hug, and it is amazing to see. It's just more widely accepted to be personable. um I don't know if small talk has changed that, or there's just that correlation. I don't know if the chicken came before the egg. Um, and the other day, I was at the clinic and with my daughter, and everyone else was kind of unsure about letting the mom know that her daughter, her toddler, was shaking her infant, like really shaking, like it was a problem. So I just tapped her and said, "Excuse me," and I was like, "Your your daughter is she's shaking your baby?" She was like, "Oh no," and she just went on and corrected her daughter or whatever, and she was just like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And then she had come back to sit down, and we were kind of just communicating, um, and small talk, just small talk. Even with me just giggling at her toddler picking up the phone, going after she heard me talking, she then said, and I thought it was so funny because regardless of the language, if it's foreign to a child, that's typically what the sound that they make when they're mocking that language. My son does it when he would hear Spanish people talking, when he would hear Asian people talking, and it's so funny that people who speak other languages do too. One of my there's one of my families, we had a meeting, and there was a toddler, and it was silent in the room. Someone was typing what had been said, and so we were just waiting so we could get to the other part of the meeting, and so it was silent, and the little boy said, "Gully, gully, gully, gully." It was hilarious. Um, so I really do believe that these changes with the small talk, um, there it's more positive. It's more positive than it is negative. There are still going to be some people who feel totally uncomfortable with you, a stranger, talking to them. Um, but I think it helps us to um, engage more when we typically wouldn't. And there's a possibility of learning something new that you would not have learned otherwise had you not opened your mouth and offered a little small talk. Um, and it may help you look at yourself and that other culture differently, just the way that minors did for me. It While I thought that I was looking at another strange culture, it helped to reverse that, and I could see my own culture as it would be strange from someone else, and it makes you appreciate other cultures that are unique, unlike yours. And it makes you question. You want to have questions and understand. And I think that is beautiful. And I also thank you for listening to me. Until next time.